Nobody is talking to you, Taylor.
Madison, you just used the vocative case.
Welcome to Inchworm,
The podcast in which we are inching through worm. I'm Jenny.
and I'm Ted. And this week, Chapter 2.3.
Yeah, really short one. Definitely felt like we're inching. Actually, looking through it, it's not that it's like that much shorter than the other chapters. It's just her at school, so I was like expecting more to happen.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, it's over? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's very much a transition chapter.
Yeah, it does seem, spoiler for the rest of this episode, like it's going to go somewhere exciting after this. So
Yeah. But, I thought there was some good Cape versus mundane energy in this chapter.
yeah. Do you want to summarize it for us?
So it starts out basically with, so she just received this message from Tattletale online, and then before she can even think about it, the bell rings, and she's like, oh my god, I was so caught up in wondering what I should say to Tattletale that I completely forgot that I skipped class last week. So she goes to class. It's Mr. Gladley's class, as you remember, and unfortunately this is a class that she shares with Madison, and Madison and her cronies laugh when Taylor comes in the room, and Taylor finds out that they have left orange juice on her seat, so she has to sit in a different seat, and unfortunately the assignment that she did over the weekend about how has the world changed because of capes is turned into a group project, and she is paired up with Sparky and Greg, two other sort of loserish types who Taylor is not sort of natural friends with, let's say. And then one of Madison's friends comes late to class and gets assigned to their group because they're the only group of 3 instead of 4. And what does Madison's friend Julia do but steal Taylor's homework and give it to Madison, so that when they present their projects at the end of class or present their discussion assignments, Madison takes the credit for all of Taylor's great ideas about how society has changed because of capes, and Greg, who can't even string a sentence together coherently, gives their presentation and does terribly. And Taylor's like, well, at least, I try to sit close to the door so that I can get out as soon as the bell rings. But this time in class, she's so frustrated by what Madison has done, and her power is kind of like tugging at the edges of her senses, that she just puts her head down, and when the bell rings, she gets up, she's ready to go, to get out and avoid the bullies the way she tried to in the first chapter of Worm. But Mr. Gladley says, hey, Taylor, stay after class a minute. And he checks in with her and is basically like, look, I'm not dumb. Something's going on. I know there was that incident at school earlier. All your teachers talked about that. So, that you're still having trouble, right? And she's kind of like, yeah. And he's like, well, but would you come with me to the principal's office and talk about it? And Taylor's like, sure. What if I did? And Mr. Gladley's like, well, we'd have a conversation. And, if you could prove it. And she's like, oh, great. So I'll go and I'll tell on these bullies, and maybe they'll get suspended, but maybe not. They're not going to get expelled. And then they basically will have no reason not to take the worst revenge possible on me. And Mr. Gladley's like, Taylor, you have to start somewhere. And she's like, this wouldn't be a start. It's shooting myself in the foot. And she kind of gets out of that conversation, goes outside, and she comes face to face with the trio of bullies.
Not just the trio of bullies. Emma, Madison, Sophia, and half a dozen other girls.
That's true. Yes. And half a dozen unnamed bullies. And that's where the chapter ends.
9 people are waiting for her in the hall.
Yeah.
Which, I have to say, seems pretty dangerous for her. Seems like an occasion in which she might be forced to use her powers for self-protection. Also seems kind of stupid of them, since Mr. Gladley is right behind her.
Yeah.
And maybe he won't notice something happening, but he already suspects something. So if he hears a sound, and it's not going to be a stretch for him to put it together.
But Taylor's probably not in the right frame of mind to call for help, let's say, after she just kind of stormed off.
No, definitely not. From the teacher she was annoyed with to start out with. Yeah.
So anything that I missed? I think we'll talk about some of these lively characters that we got to know in this chapter.
Yeah, I wonder how much they're throwaways versus... It seems like, we're probably going to be spending a lot of time at school unless she uses her powers and gets expelled quickly, which would be quite surprising. I suspect she's going to be here for a little bit longer. Yeah. So, we'll probably meet these guys again.
What jumped out to me is sort of like the Cape versus mundane stuff in this chapter is like she was very much in like the Cape Wikipedia rabbit hole. And then she has to like shut her laptop. And then later on when Madison is stealing credit for her work, it talks about how her powers are like super overwhelming to her. And that is just like, obviously, if anyone was in that situation, you would be really, really upset and angry. And so she has this additional superpowered version of that.
Yes. Yeah. That's the moment that I zeroed in on. I was steamed and I could hardly focus on the lecture as my power crackled and tugged at my attention from the periphery of my consciousness, making me acutely aware of every bug within 1/10 of a mile.
Yeah.
And she can tune it out, but like it's really distracting.
So what do you make of that? I think we similarly in chapter 1 had a sort of like when her emotions are heightened, her power calls to her more.
That makes a lot of sense. It points to like the power is something that she has to work to control, and it can almost slip out of her control. It's bigger than she is. Yeah, it's not like she has to work hard to conjure it. She has to work to keep it down. We also learn her range, which is pretty interesting, within 1/10 of a mile. Yeah, so that's like 500 feet. So, a couple football fields in each direction.
Right.
It's a lot of bugs.
Yeah, bugs are everywhere.
Bugs are really small. We don't notice them. It's a lot of bugs. And of course, she can do more if she has lead time because she can like build up a swarm to follow her.
Right.
But just, reaching from nothing. She hasn't done any prep work. Yeah, 10th of a mile on all sides. I'd be interested. I bet there are people online who've done the calculations of like, on average, how many bugs are in?
Yeah, absolutely. I also wonder if Wildbow is the type of person who is like, I roughly have a sense of how many bugs she needs to be able to for plot reasons. So like, what is that number? Like, I wonder how finely you calculated it. Because I feel like for some people, I'm not this person at all, but for some people, they would really want to know the specific number.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas like, if I were trying to characterize something like that, I would be very hand-wavy about it. It's you can't prove that there weren't that many bugs within 1/10 of a mile.
There's a lot of rotting stuff.
Just order of magnitude is where we want to end up.
Yeah. I did notice you were talking about Cape versus mundane stuff. So she mentions the Tattletale message at the beginning of the chapter. Does not return to it at all, which makes sense. It doesn't really come up, but like wild that we got that message at the end of the last chapter. And then absolutely zero follow-up. She's like, oops, can't think about that. I have to go to class. Like,
yeah. Well,
we have no idea. We're in such suspense. Like, what does she think about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also I feel like it really grounds you in Taylor's perspective. And even though she has this new and exciting Cape identity that she's been exploring for 24 hours or whatever, it's the like totality of having to go to class and deal with your bullies and like all of that is just like, of course it fills your entire mind. Right. If it were a more boring situation, she probably would be sort of
teenagers are such prisoners. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean, plenty of adults are in bad situations too, but like most adults can control like their, if it's a bad job, they can quit. Like teenagers just don't really have societally approved options or like easily accessed options for getting out of their tough situations. They just have no choice.
Yeah.
Which is why they're so great for protagonists. They're in this.
Yes, exactly.
And speaking of the system she's trapped in, like, I was very surprised by Mr. Gladly. He had sort of come off as like a try-hard, like, want-to-be popular kid teacher. And it seems like
Call me Mr. G. Mr. Gladly is my dad. I was almost, because like Taylor really hates group assignments, and I was kind of like willing to give Mr. Gladly the benefit of doubt, because I was like, maybe there are sort of pedagogical reasons, these group assignments, maybe he's got something going here. But then immediately with the calling Mr. G thing, I was like, oh, this guy.
But to his credit, partial credit, he has noticed what's going on with her and is reaching out. And we get some interesting background info on, a few weeks back when the glue was smeared on your desk and chair. It sounds like he talked to her after that. And then the incident that happened at the start of the year, presumably the incident her dad referenced, she has not thought about it in her own head. We still know nothing about it. We're really getting strung along. I hope we get that revelation soon. I'm very curious. Yeah, so he is reaching out.
Yeah, and even though Taylor does not like Mr. Gladly, her reaction is she feels like ashamed. But she's like, I kind of feel, I'm glad somebody is asking this directly, but I'm also kind of annoyed because I don't like this guy. And she says, like, I felt embarrassed. Like I had walked into a door and someone was trying too hard to make sure I was okay.
Yeah.
Which is
it's the shame piece. Like it's not her fault. She's not actually doing anything to cause this. But of course, that's like such a human reaction. Of course, you're embarrassed to be having this happen to you.
Yeah. And like admitting that it's been months.
Oh my gosh.
Or,
yeah.
I mean, sort of years or over a year, but maybe that's not what Mr. Gladly knows about.
But yeah, this is really pointing out very clearly, like, the system is not set up in the school to protect kids from bullies. He is reaching out. He's offering the option of going to the principal. And of course, what he offers is completely inadequate. She points out. She's like, okay, so I talked to them. I need to name names. They're going to bring these kids in to talk to the principal also. And the worst that might happen, if I can prove they did it, is that they'll get suspended for a few days. And then, of course, when they come back to school, it'll be way, way worse for me. And this is a thing, like, I read Ask a Manager all the time, and there's thing, you can go to HR and talk about this issue that's like a legally protected thing or whatever, but like, make sure you mention that you're afraid of retaliation because they have a legal obligation to keep you from being retaliated on for reporting this kind of thing. And Ask a Manager is constantly acknowledging, like, not all HR departments will handle that well. And clearly the school is also falling down in this regard. Like, they really need to have, if they want kids to be able to report bullying, they need to have a system in place to prevent retaliation.
Right.
I don't know what they would do. It's, it's very hard to imagine a good anti-bullying system. I have not put any thought to this. Hopefully people have, but...
Yeah, and what's Taylor going to do? I mean, the stuff that we talked, the orange juice, the glue, even the incident in the bathroom, like, Taylor couldn't prove any of it.
No.
It's her word against theirs. And even if everybody in Taylor's classes knows that she's being bullied by these kids,
testify on behalf of the kid
even
that no one
I don't
likes.
even think, why would the principal take just like random kids' testimonies? Right? It's almost like what they're asking her for is not possible.
Right. And
Short
he just has
confession.
this, like, if you want things to get better, you have to start somewhere. She's like, this would make things so much worse for me. What are you talking about? And it's sad because he also says, like, if there were further incidents, then they would get suspended for longer or be expelled. And, like, they would need to have a trail on these kids if they were going to do something as drastic as expel them. But, like, they do not have a system set up for her to safely report this at all.
Right. And it's so sad. His sort of, if you want things to get better, you have to start somewhere, is like, it's a really nice sentiment.
What a platitude, man.
No, but I think it is a nice, but it's like, in this context, it's so hollow.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely, it's so enraging. Yeah. And I have to expect that this will echo things that will come later in the story. Yeah. Like the idea that, like, I mean, I don't know exactly what position she'll be in, but if there is corruption in the system, if there are, bullies basically among the Capes in the Cape community, Armsmaster, perhaps? Yeah, this thing like, you should report them, and if you can prove anything, they'll get a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then this powerful Cape is going to be out for my blood.
Yeah.
Like, we already have such a strong theme of, like, don't stick your nose out if you don't have the power to protect yourself against retaliation. Like, that is such a recurring theme already.
Right. And it's not that Taylor doesn't necessarily have power, because she has power. It's just that using it would be probably wrong in the situation, right? Like,
she doesn't have the right tool for the situation. Yeah.
It's funny that you bring up Armsmaster. One of the things that jumped out to me is that this is another example, just one chapter later, of someone taking credit for Taylor's work.
Oh, that's such a good point.
But it's obviously totally different, right? Mm-hmm. But this is the kind of, like,
it makes Armsmaster look worse if this is sort of the analog to him. It's like kind of painting him with the same brush.
Yeah. Well, I don't think, because the situations are very, very different, and it's like, but this goes to show both the way Taylor feels about a similar situation being so drastically different, I think, is really interesting and telling. Mm-hmm. And I think it invites the question of, if Taylor with Armsmaster and a bunch of Capes tried to say, well, but that I did that, right? And he just said, what are you talking about? If she can't prove it, maybe there's not much. Or if she can only prove it by the testimony of known villains, Green, Tattletale, Regent, and Hellhound.
Yes. Now, do we think they're the analogs to Sparky and Greg?
Oh, let's hope not.
No, they seem like real annoying characters.
Should
we talk about Sparky and Greg?
Yeah, I mean, we could dive into how awful Madison is, or we could take a delightful detour into Sparky and Greg.
Let's talk about Sparky and Greg.
I mean, I don't have much to say about Sparky. He seems just like
he's a stoner
kid.
Yeah,
I know
it's funny
a bunch of Sparkies.
Taylor doesn't say that he's always stoned, but that is what his description sounds like.
Exactly. He's a drummer, which is quote unquote.
It's a euphemism.
It's a euphemism. Greg, I will not spoil whether Greg matters to the story at all, but he is such a vivid character in just these 3 pages.
I love Greg. This poor kid. He's very ADHD coded.
Greg, but I don't. He was smarter than average, but he had a way of saying every thought that came into his head. His train of thought didn't have any breaks or tracks.
Harsh.
Ooh, Taylor. Ooh. She's cooking.
Yeah.
And then, I didn't get much done, Greg said. I got distracted by this new game I got, and it's really, really good. It's called Space Opera. Have you played it? A full minute later, he was still on the same topic, even though I wasn't paying any attention to him or giving him any feedback on what he was saying. You have to understand, it's a genre, and it's one I've been really getting into lately since I started watching this anime called Oh Hey, Julia.
Yes.
And then after...
I know we can't diagnose characters in a story, but I feel like there's some ADHD coding happening here.
Absolutely. And then later, she's showing her work to Greg, and then Greg gives it to Julia, who gives it to Madison. Greg. And then Greg, for the rest of the period, is really trying to make it okay, but no one is even paying any attention to him at all. It's so pathetic and sad. Oh my god. And then, worst of all... It's a group project, but Mr. Gladly chooses Greg to be the person who talks about their assignment. And Taylor's like, come on. you know Greg's not going to do a good job. Why are you doing this to me?
Do you think if he'd called on Taylor, she would have said all of the things that were on the paper, and then Madison would have sounded like she was repeating her? But then Madison had all the clippings.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder, it would have been an interesting choice for Taylor.
I don't think she would have done it. I think she's too... passive is maybe not the... Well, she is. She chooses passivity in her interactions with them.
Exactly. Yeah, she's trying not to escalate.
Yeah. Julia seems basically like a non-entity. She's one of the...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she'll become a character later, but she was not vividly drawn. She's just one of the hangers-on of Madison.
Yeah.
It is funny how... So Taylor feels like these 3 girls are my bullies. But it's not just, these are the 3 girls who hate Taylor and they have all these friends. They are actually the ringleaders of something.
Right.
Julia's can I be in Madison's group? This is all, everything is centering around them. Right. The fact that Madison is the only one of the trio that's in the class, and she is the one that people are like, oh yeah, it's Madison. It's Madison's group. They are sort of a power throuple. I'm sure they're not a throuple.
And it's clear that Madison, even before Julia comes in, Madison has a couple of other girls who they all giggle when Taylor comes in because they know that they've set the orange juice trap.
Yeah.
I gotta say also, orange juice in the chair after you've already done glue, and it's Taylor thinks it's a callback to the juice incident. It's not very original.
It's pretty weak. She could just sit in a different chair.
I'm not impressed with Madison's bullying.
That is a good point, actually. So, I mean, we said before, something really intense happened a few months ago at the start of the year. It seems like they have backed way down. Glue is much worse than juice. But, even, putting glue on a chair and then she can just potentially take a different chair. They don't seem very effective, but they have been in the past. I wonder if they stumbled into that by accident or if they just have intentionally been, taking things down. Because they got freaked out. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Madison?
Sure. Is there anything to say about Madison? She sucks.
Yeah, she sucks. I just so enraged. She's saying, Madison, give it back. Madison, cute and petite and crush of choice for half of the guys in our grade, turned and managed a combined look and tone of such condescension that a grown man would have flinched. Nobody is talking to you, Taylor.
Madison, you just used the vocative case. How could you use her name like that if you aren't talking to her? Just saying. Proving yourself in a lie.
Yeah, no, Madison sucks. And she doesn't even do a good job of explaining Taylor's points, which I loved.
I was intrigued by that. So I feel like this is foreshadowing. Maybe not, because this was written in 2011. I think we weren't maybe as conscious as a society of the issues with the culture of law enforcement. But Taylor says, my point had been that with qualified capes easing the workload and taking over for the most high-profile cases, law enforcement of all stripes were more free to train and expand their skill sets, making for smarter, more versatile cops. Madison just made it sound like they got a lot of vacation days. I'm like, who's correct? Who's correct, Taylor?
mean, it'll be so interesting to see if we get non-cape law enforcement playing a meaningful role.
Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
Certainly plenty of capes to play that role.
Did any of Taylor's commentaries about cape society and normal society stand out to you?
Oh, let's see. Mentioning? Fashion, economics, tinkers and the tech boom. The fact that movies, television, and magazines had been tweaked to accommodate cape celebrities, and so on. To be honest, I just kind of didn't really look at that list in detail. But I love the potential here. So, okay, fashion. I really hope people are like wearing capes. Like, do you think that there is like cape influence, like fashion choices? Like, that would be so fun.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Masks,
everyone's got to be into bodysuits.
Oh, yeah. Economics. I mean, we talked about how economics influences cape societies with like supervillains moving in to like get the out of work people jobs.
It does seem like there are tinkers who can create and sell technology, right?
Yeah, which is tinkers in the tech boom.
We talked about that a little bit with Arms Masters. Sort of like, why don't they just mass produce this stuff?
Right. Well, definitely, like, there are powers that you would pay a lot to have someone use for your benefit. Right. So potentially there are industries that they've revolutionized. That, like, popular media has been tweaked to accommodate cape celebrities. It sounds like what that means is, like, there are capes who are celebrities, and sometimes they show up in popular media, which is, like, has been tweaked to accommodate is, like, a little bit weird as a way to say that. But, yeah, so there are cape celebrities. I wonder if any of them can act.
Right. Yeah. Is cape media good?
Yeah.
What happened to Marvel since the 80s? That's what I want to know.
No, that is interesting. Like,
presumably it just
there must
exist.
Have been, maybe there wasn't. Like, were there superhero comics in this world? And what happened to them once there were real capes?
I mean, I feel like it's a genre trope of like, if you're like in any, zombie movie, no one's talking about like, oh, it's like that zombie movie, unless it's like trying to be funny. Right.
Yeah. I wonder if Mr. Gladley suspected, and that's why he didn't give Madison's group the points.
Oh, that's, I want that for Mr. Gladley. Yeah, I want him to be Mr. with G. it enough. I don't want to call him Mr. G. Yeah. I also liked, so after that call me Mr. G moment, Taylor's like, sorry, Mr. G. And then she talks about how she needs a new textbook because hers got destroyed. Mm-hmm. And when he asks what happened, she thinks, soaked with grape juice by a trio of harpies. I lost it. I lied. Another good line from Taylor.
Yes. I hope they can afford a textbook and with all the problems at the docks.
It goes by faster, but another lie. She lied to her dad at the beginning of this arc. She's lying to Mr. Gladley about the bullies. Both very understandable.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta lie to cover up your secret identity.
Yeah.
She's still... Okay, we're building up so many sources of suspense. Tattletale's message, she still hasn't gotten into trouble for skipping class.
It's true.
But she reminds us of it in this chapter. And now there are 9 girls waiting for her in the hallway. Presumably going to beat her up or something.
Is that your prediction? Fist fight?
I think they're probably somewhat smart about this. So they're not going to beat her up right outside the door of Mr. Gladley's classroom with him right in there. I expect that maybe they'll try to bring her somewhere. I don't know. I think what will happen is she will be in like physical distress. Like she'll be like, they'll be like ruining her stuff or like actually like physically beating her up. And she will want to use the bugs and she will refrain because, supposed to be keeping it a secret. She wants it to be a secret. She also, she already ruled out for ethical reasons just setting bugs to like destroy these people. These are not supervillains, and those are in a different category in her head, I think. I think that Mr. G, should I not call him that?
You can, maybe he deserves it. I'm not going to say.
I think Mr. Gladley is going to find her after she's been beaten out, and she will agree to go to the principal, and it will make things worse, as she knew it would.
Yeah.
Or maybe he'll insist that she go to the principal, and she won't name names.
Ooh.
There's a lot of good options.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like she probably didn't name names after whatever happened at the start of the year.
That seems to make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this would have to be worse, maybe, to push her in that direction, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think Mr. Gladley would respond to, a fist fight breaking out or, sort of bullying happening right outside of his classroom?
I think he'll show up too late to do anything useful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other predictions?
Any other predictions?
If not, we can just wind down. Short episode. It's good.
Okay, so we probably can't not follow up on this cliffhanger. We didn't follow up on the Tattletale one, but this one seems really immediate. I think that this definitely would not happen. I'm kind of hoping they'll start beating her up and then Tattletale or Gru, like one of their gang will like come in and like put a stop to it.
Yeah, because they go to the same school.
They don't know where she is, is the thing. Right. Like, if they could find her in person, they wouldn't have sent that message, and that message was such a cool, like, the fact that she stumbled across that was great. You know, I think that she'll find them again from that message. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, sounds great. I think somehow Taylor will get in trouble from this fight.
Yeah, classic. Yeah. Just get, the classic, as soon as you stand up for yourself, you get in trouble type of trope.
Ooh. She'll resist using the bugs, but she'll slap Madison in the face.
Ooh.
Yeah. Everyone will get suspended.
Nice.
All right, that's my prediction.
Sounds good. All right, till next time.
Wait, what if those 3 girls actually are a throuple, and that's why Emma stopped talking to Taylor, because she fell in love with 2 other girls? Could be. We don't know much about Emma. It's true, we know almost nothing. Yeah. Sucks for half of the boys in the grade. Well, it was going to suck for most of those boys anyway. How many of them should possibly date? Yeah. It's all right, they'll just have to date each other. Okay, we can stop now. Perfect. All right. Till next time. Worm is a web serial by J.C. McCrae. You can read Worm at parahumans.wordpress.com and support the author at patreon.com/wildbow. Follow us on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Inchworm Podcast, or find our Discord link and any other updates on inchwormpodcast.com.